One, I had to walk away from. This was a classic tale of a client that, well, I'm back up. So it was a guy that ended up becoming kind of a friend of mine, got hired on at this company, and it was a newer company. They'd only been around for, I don't know, 2 years or so. And they were doing car detailing. It's a lot of dealerships and at the auction houses, like so the big Mannheim car auctions here in Dallas and Houston. And they were in a ton of locations. I mean, I want to say they were in like 30-something dealerships across North Texas, Austin, Houston. And, so this guy asked me to come in. He was relatively new to the company. The owner was a younger guy. I think he was like 28. Company had blown up on him in a couple of years. He went from like a startup to doing like $5 million in sales in a matter of like 2 years. And so he's like, hey, Tyler, I'd like you to look at our insurance. I don't know that any of this is correct. And lo and behold, it wasn't. None of it was correct. And so we were in the process of looking through everything and trying to get information. And they had a claim. This was probably, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks after we first started talking to him. They had a claim situation where at one of the dealerships, one of the detailers was moving a car. The story was that he was moving a car out of the detail little barn thing that they had. Was moving it to go park it back. Apparently, he had reached down to mess with the floor mat that was like stuck or something like that. He was driving a brand new Dodge TRX.
Wow.
Yeah. Looks up, realizes he's veered off like the road and he's heading towards a car. Freaks out. Instead of hitting the brakes, slams the gas. And so, I mean, it's a Dodge TRX.
Yeah, so that's how it go.
Yeah, that's how you mash the gas, it's going to pick up a little bit. And so proceeds to ram it into a brand new Dodge Hellcat. Wow. That then ricochets and hits a brand new Jeep Wagoneer fully loaded. He swerves off of that and then proceeds to drive it through the building.
$350,000 worth of cars and then the building.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I get a phone call at like 7 a.m. the next morning, like, hey, Tyler, I know, you're working on this. Here's what happened. Do we have coverage for this? And there's nuances within garage, coverages and when you're dealing with cars and there's certain garage keepers type coverage you have to have, and they didn't have any of it. And I was like, guys, you can file a claim, but I can tell you right now, this is not going to go well in your favor. Like, you'll not have coverage for any of this stuff. And sure enough, so they ended up having to cut, they also owned a body shop. So they ended up cutting deals with the dealership and they repaired the building and they ended up buying all 3 vehicles and doing the body work themselves. Wow. And trying to, it was bad. So there was that, and that was trying to help them overcome that obstacle. And then like a month later, they didn't have any work comp either. And like a month later, at the Mannheim auction in Houston, one of the vehicles they pulled in from the auction to detail, I guess the brakes were out. And so one employer ran over the other employee.
Wow.
With the car. So then they called me, they're like, hey, Tyler, that's a lie. They did have work comp. Sorry, let me back up. They did have work comp. They had 160 some odd employees. They had 3 employees actually rated on the work comp. They had 3 office workers, and that was all that they put on there. Basically, they were not really paying their employees correctly. They had 1099 everybody. Yeah. Basically, and I tell people all the time, there's insurance, there's taxes, there's some similarities there, but at the bottom line, like insurance is going to be like how these people are working for you as employees or not, and whether or not you're responsible if something happens to them on the job. And so, yeah, sure enough, she got ran over by the car. It was super unfortunate. Their work comp didn't pay out because that wasn't even a class code. I mean, they had 160 some employees instead of the 3 they were rated for. And so at that point, I just told them, well, hey guys, so, we're 2 in the weeds. I can't, I'm gonna have to walk away here. And I don't know what actually ended up happening. I know she basically got a lawyer and we're suing them for medical damages and lost wages, and it was gonna get ugly. But yeah, that was crazy. So within like a 2-month span, they were like, well, we never had anything happen. I think we're fine. And then it just, things went south quickly.
It can happen quick.
Open their mouth to